Welcome back. Last time, we learned how to make our variables visible to all the event handlers in the Forms unit. We used this project that we started a few lessons ago. All our variables are declared above the begin statement inside our event procedures. All these variables will only be visible to the code in this procedure. They are local in the procedures in which they are declared. But these two were declared under the implementation statement. We declare variables here if they must be accessible to all the code that we want to implement for this Forms unit. In other words, all the code under the implementation will have access to str phrase and BTE letter count. We use str phrase and BTE letter count in all these buttons. The buttons must process str phrase to show an English pangram in this edit. After every click of a button, the string is processed using various functions and procedures. And BTE letter count is used to keep track of the length of the string in this panel. We also link the menus to perform the same actions as their corresponding buttons. For example, the lowercase menu does the same work as the lowercase button, without writing a single extra line of code. Oh, by the way, a pangram is a sentence or a phrase that contains all the characters in the alphabet. So far, the display button only gives the user one pangram. Today, we will give the user more pangrams to choose from. We must give the user 9 more, so in total there will be 10. Some of our buttons, like the copy button, displays an input box to get information from the user. The input box is just a special form with a label and edit and a few buttons. After the user enters a value and click the OK button, the value is passed from this form to the main form. Today, we are going to do something similar with a custom form. Our display pangram button must also pop up another form, just like the input box, but we will create our own form for that. The user must then select one of the 10 pangrams from a combo box. I already created the solution to demonstrate it to you. When we are done with today's work, the user will be able to click the display pangram button and the second form will show. This form is a custom form, so we will create it. On this form, the user selects one of the 10 pangrams in the combo box. As soon as the user makes a change in the selection, the selected pangram will be saved in a variable that we will declare in this Forms unit. The Select button just confirms the user's intention by closing the second form. Now, as soon as the form is closed, our main form will grab the value the user saved in the variable in the other form and display it here in the edit of the main form, so that all our buttons can use the new pangram. If you do not have the project, you can go back a few lessons and follow the steps to get to this point. Or you can go to patreon.com/LearnDelphi to download the starter files and do the project with me. And you do not have to be a patron to download resources from Patreon. And thanks to my current patrons for your continuous support. And if you do not have the same version of Delphi as me, you may still be in time to get a free download of Delphi 10.3 Community Edition. That's what I'm using currently to record these lessons. As usual, I will post a link in the description below this video. Now, let's start. The first thing we will do is to set up the second form. Right-click the name of the project here in the Explorer, point to Add New, click VCL Form. The second form is added to the IDE. On the top, we see that Delphi named it Unit 1. You can switch between units by clicking these tabs on the top. This is how it looks in Design View, and you can also double-click the names of the units here to switch between units in Code View. Now, select Unit 1 on the top, and click the Design tab at the bottom. Let's set up the new form. Right-click unit1.pass and rename it. Make it pangram_list_u.pass and press Enter. Let's also change the name and the caption of the form. Select the form, change the name to FRM Pangrams List and the caption to Pangrams List. Open the standard components and put a T button on the form. Also get a TComboBox and put it above the button. The combo box will contain long phrases, so make it wider. And tidy up your form. Now select the combo box. Change the name property to CBO Pangrams List. We will change more properties for the combo box later. Select the button. Change the name to BTN Select. and a caption to select. The select button must just close the form after the user selects the pengram in the combo box. Double-click the select button, type self.close. We refer to the instance of the form that we are working in as self. In other words, FRM pengrams list must close when the user clicks the button. Now let's finish the combo box. Select CBO pengrams list. We will add 10 more pengrams to the items property of the combo box. You can type your own pengrams, but if you downloaded the project from patreon.com, you can use the pengrams I provided. In the download you will see this resources folder. Open it. In this folder is a notepad file with the name pengrams.txt. Open this file. This phrase here on the top is not a pengram. It will be a prompt that the combo box must display as the default item. And here on the second line we have the pengram that we used in previous lessons. We will replace the constant we used in previous lessons. In a future lesson I will show you how to create Delphi projects that retrieve these lines from the text file and list them in the combo box. But that is for much later. For now we will just copy all the text. Then go back to your project. Make sure that the combo box is still selected. Go to the items property. Click the button with the dots in the cell next to the items property and paste the text that you copied from the notepad file into the string list editor. If we run the application now, the first item in the list will not show as the default text. To fix that, we must change the item index property to 0. Every item in the combo box has a number called an index, and it starts from 0. The first item is 0. -1 means no default item is selected. Change the item index to 0. The first item, which is the prompt, shows as the default now. The combo box must also be read-only. So go down to the style property and change it to CS drop-down list. Now the user will not be able to type custom text into the combo box. When the user makes a change in the combo box, the OnChange event of the combo box will be triggered. Click the Events tab in the Object Inspector. Here we see the OnChange event of the combo box, and it is not linked to an event handler yet. To create an event handler, we can double-click the blank cell next to OnChange, or we can simply double-click the combo box, because the OnChange event is the default event for a combo box. A new event handler is created, and here in the events, we can see the OnChange event is now handled by this event handler. When the user selects a new pengram from the combo box, we must store the selected pengram in a string variable with this event handler. The pengram that the user selected must be accessible to the main form. In other words, when we save a variable in this unit, we must make it shareable for the main form outside this unit. We can't declare the variable inside the event handler because the scope is local to the event handler. We also can't declare the variable under the implementation statement like we did in previous lessons because the variable will only be visible to the procedures under the implementation statement and not to other units. Here we have a section where the form and all its public features are declared. Public scope means it will be accessible to all the code in the form as well as any other units that reference this unit. But be careful, the variables you declare publicly will be exposed to the outside world to do whatever they want to do with it. We do have alternative ways to expose variables to other units in a more protected way. You must only use public scope if it is safe to do so and if you have no other alternative. In later lessons we will also explore some other approaches. Go under the comment after public, type str selected pengram as string. Now let's assign a value to the string variable when the user selects a pengram from the combo box. Go to the new event handler and put your mouse between begin and end. And type str selected pengram equals cbo pengrams list dot text. Let's see how it works. Run the program. The main form starts up. That's the default behavior of a Delphi VCL Forms application. The form that was added first will be the starting form. We must show the second form when the user clicks the Display Pengram button. Let's do that next. Go to the event handler for the onClick event of btn Display Pengram. Directly under the begin statement, type frm pengrams list.show. The compiler doesn't recognize the new form because it doesn't belong to this unit. For now, just make this line invisible to the compiler. Use slashes in the front to comment the line. To make a form of another unit accessible to this unit, we must reference it with a user statement. If you have the same version of Delphi as me, you will see an icon with a drop-down arrow here on the top of the code editor. Drop it down, select Interface Users clause, or just scroll up to the user statement in the interface section. Earlier, you learned that all these units contain external code that we can reuse. If we want this unit to have access to the new unit, we must also add the name of the new unit under the user statement. It may be accepted by the compiler if you type the new unit's name under this user statement, but it is not always a good practice to reference your own units under the user statement that belongs to the interface section. It can cause all kinds of problems, like circular references. The interface section of your form sets up a template for your form, and you implement that template and any other custom work further down under the implementation statement, like we've done before. It is a better practice to start your own users clause under implementation. If you do have this icon, drop it down and select implementation section, or you can just scroll down to the implementation section. Under implementation, type users followed by pengrams list _u and the semicolon. Now scroll down to the event handler for btn Display Pengrams click. Remove the slashes in front of this statement that gave us an error. And now the compiler can see the second form. Press enter to make a new line and type str phrase : equals frm pengrams list dot. After you type a dot, this list displays all the publicly scoped features of the new form. Now just type st, and here we see the public variable that we declared a few minutes ago in the new form. Now you know how to expose variables from external units. Now press the enter key to auto-type the name and terminate the statement with a semicolon. We don't need this constant for the default pengram anymore, because the user will select one of the 10 pengrams we provide on the other form. So delete this whole line. Now we get an error here. Replace the word pengram with str phrase. Remember, str phrase is a string that is visible to all the event handlers, because we declared it under the implementation statement in the previous lesson. If we run the project now, we will get some issues with this statement. But let's run the project first. Click Display Pengram. The second form displays now. This is the problem I talked about. These two messages display before the user even selected the pengram from the combo box. Go and select the pengram from the combo box and click select. That was quite disappointing. Let's go and find out what went wrong. Close the form. Now follow the logic with me. When the user clicks btn Display Pengram, the compiler starts here. Then it moves on and declares the constant for the speed of light. On the next line it shows the new form. Then it reads the value in the public variable of the new form and saves it in str phrase. But at this point, the user didn't even have a chance to select the pengram from the combo box to save it in the variable. So the public variable we declared is still empty, and that's why the edit is also empty. Then the compiler moves on and executes the rest of the code. And that's why we also get messages in the panels even before the user selected the pengram. Let's see how we can fix that. Go to this line, change show to ShowModal. The ShowModal method also shows a second form, but it will now have the behavior of a dialog window. The compiler will not continue with execution while the new form is still in use. So the user must handle and close the second form first, and only after the user closes the second form, the compiler will execute the code that follows the ShowModal method. That will be after the user selected the pangram and after it is saved in the public string that we declared. In other words, we will have the selected pangram before the compiler continues executing the remaining lines. Let's see if it works. Run the application again. Click Display Pangram. And we don't get these messages so early anymore. Now select any pangram from the combo box. Now the pangram that you selected was saved in the public string variable that we declared before. Click the Select button, the new form closes, and voila! Now that was fun. Now let's see how much we shared in the past 3 lessons. In module 10.11 we learned how to share event handlers, and in module 10.12 we learned how to share variables to other event handlers in the same unit. And in this lesson you learned how to share variables across multiple units. And I'm also sharing these lessons with you. Now it's your turn. Please share this video with all your friends on social media. And if this lesson was helpful to you, also please like and subscribe. Next time we will dive deeper into strings and characters in another new project. See you in the next lesson.